Hi guys, Crystal here from Crystal Co-Design. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this pixie hat that I created. It includes the mini bean stitch and the extended half double crochet stitch. So you'll be able to learn both of those in this tutorial. And to get started, we're going to start with a slip stitch on our hook. I'm using a 5mm and some Vanish's Choice yarn in rust. Then we are going to chain to the number indicated in the pattern, which is a multiple of 2. For this tutorial, I'm just going to do 6 chains. And then for our pattern, we need to add 5 for our foundation. So I'm going to go up to 11. Just so I can show you how to work these stitches in this little swatch. Okay, so on our first row, we are going to be making a half double crochet, a regular half double crochet into the 3rd chain from our hook. I like to crochet into the back, so I'm going to roll it over. 1, 2, 3, yarn over for my half double crochet. That's my first stitch there. And then I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip the next chain. And into the chain after that, I am going to do my first mini bean stitch. So the mini bean stitch is worked by inserting your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, insert back into the same stitch, yarn over and pull up. So that's all the yarn over pull-ups I'm going to do. I'm going to have 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 4. There we go. And that's our first mini bean. To close it, we're going to do a chain 1. And then we are going to skip the next chain. And we're just going to keep repeating that mini bean stitch across. So I'll show you another one. There we go, chain 1, skip, mini bean into the next one, there we go. Now we're going to skip 1, and into our last stitch we are just going to put a regular half double crochet. There we go. Okay, so we have our first little mini swatch here. So this is actually going to be the wrong side of our work, and so when we turn our row, we'll see this is the texture we're looking for in our pattern, this little pop here of our mini bean. Now if I was just working the mini bean stitch, when I crochet into a mini bean stitch, I'm going to crochet into not the chain 1 we made, but the part that is on the side here of the stitch. But now we're changing our stitch to the half double crochet, I'm sorry, the extended half double crochet row. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now we're working on the right side of our fabric. So for row 2 in the pixie hat, we chain 2, and we're going to extended half double crochet into that same stitch here that we chained 2, because our chain 2s don't count. And then we are going to do that across each of our stitches across here. So to extended half double crochet, we yarn over, insert our hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1. That's our extended part. Now we'll have 3 loops on our hook, so we just yarn over and make a half double crochet stitch. So that is our extended half double crochet. So we'll repeat that in the next stitch. So just like the half double crochet, I find this is a very sideways stitch, at least for the way I hold the hook and yarn, so it almost helps to turn my work straight up. It often reminds me of foundation crochet, where you don't do chains. You basically make the chain first, and then you crochet the stitch at the same time, And that is kind of what we're doing here. Okay. So here we get to the end. We have our turning chains from our beginning starting chain that don't count. We're just going to go into our last stitch there. If you're really new to crochet, it really helps if you mark what is a stitch and what isn't, because those turning chains can be tricky. When you're doing chain twos that don't count, sometimes they do. Your pattern will tell you, but if you're not sure what you're looking at, often it's difficult. All right, for row 3, we're turning, and we're going to do 2 more rows of our extended half double crochets, and we just keep repeating that process along. After our 2 rows of extended half double crochet, then we're going to do mini bean stitches again. So I'm going to work up my rows, and then I'll come back to you for that next row of mini bean stitches. And that's really all you need to know to work up your rectangle for your pixie hat. Okay, I now have 3 rows of extended half double crochet. You can see how my texture is starting to pop here on that as well. This is going to be my right side of my work. So I'm turning, and for row 5, I'm going to chain 2. This is a mini bean stitch row, and in that same spot I'm going to do a regular half double crochet, and then chain 1. I'm going to skip the next stitch, then I'm going to mini bean into the one after that. Insert my hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, insert back in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up another, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all 4. Oops. Then we need to do a chain 1 to close it, skip 1, make another mini bean in the next, chain 1, skip the next, there we go, we have our chain 1, skip the second to last stitch, and in our last stitch, not our turning chains, we are going to place our regular half double crochet. And that is all you need to know. Then you're going to repeat the rows, row 2s. After that, your extended half double crochet. Once your rectangle is worked up, let's see if I can orient this just right. You are going to fold it in half. This is my open end. Now, this is a finished one, so my edging is already here. But without that, it would end here. Fold it in half, and you're going to seam one end. That will become the top of your hat. You can watch my video on the mattress stitch. It shows you how to seam those together if you don't know that stitch. So you seam one end together, which leaves the front edge open and the bottom edge open. So the neck will be here and the face will be here. So after that is seamed, then you are going to join your yarn onto the bottom edge on the right side, and you're going to evenly crochet extended half double crochet rows all the way around, and turn and repeat that for 2 more rows. I have 3 rows on here. When you get done, you will be down here at your opposite corner from the starting one, and you can add a little buttonhole loop if you want to do a button, which I would recommend because otherwise it's going to sit open there. And so you just do from where you ended there, you do like a little chain 3 and slip stitch that a couple stitches down. Obviously it depends on how big your button is. This one's about 1 inch, and that works really well for that. So this is a really easy hat construction. You're just crocheting a rectangle. It can be a little tricky to figure out what part of the hat goes where. Let me zoom out a little and I'll show you more of the hat. There you go, we're zoomed out a little so you can see. This is the open front of your hat and the bottom neck down here, and the top edge that gets seamed together. So when you're working yours, you're just working a rectangle, And work it flat like that. You'll fold it in half this way, seam the top, and then you'll add your edging to the front edges and your buttonhole at the bottom there. And that is your little pixie hat. Okay, make sure you check out the full pattern at ChristCoDesign.com.